Hi everyone, today we're going to be starting a 3-part presentation on the white-tailed deer in North America. I hope you all enjoy what's to come. This is important to understand. We are a part of nature. Yet as a result of modernization, we have slowly lost touch of our sacred relationship with the natural world. If you live in northern New Jersey or anywhere near New York and beyond, you've likely seen a white-tailed deer in your own backyard before. But what we often don't fail to recognize is that these animals are not just passing through, they are key power players in the landscape that we share. When it comes to the story of white-tailed deer in North America, we are looking at one of the greatest wildlife conservation success stories over time. But achieving conservation success is not always simple. In fact, it often requires difficult and complex decision making to preserve wildlife species and the ecosystem processes they support, including migration, dispersal, and long-term survival. Throughout human history, many cultures maintained a deep relationship with cervids, often viewing them as both symbols of nature and a highly valued game species. This highlights something important. Our relationship with deer is not just ecological, it's also very cultural, because deer are very close to people's hearts and minds, including my own. However, when it comes to modern wildlife conservation, human emotion can sometimes outweigh the need for practical coexistence. As a result, we now find ourselves at a critical point in human history, especially in regions like northern New Jersey, where we must reevaluate how we coexist with species we once nearly lost. This is not just about deer, it's about what we define what a healthy ecosystem should look like. White-tailed deer have been proven to be highly adaptable. They thrive in environments that are shaped by human activity, landscapes that include fragmented forests, road systems, and suburban development. Research continues to show that managing deer populations is not simply a biological issue. It's also a human one, shaped by public perception, education, competing shareholder values. At the same time as human populations expand, so does habitat fragmentation. Roads in particular divide ecosystem limit movement, increased likelihood of human-wildlife conflict. Surprisingly, despite how common deer may seem one of the least understood aspects of their ecology's movement, we often don't think about wildlife migration in the northeastern United States, but migration and dispersal are fundamental behaviors that allow species to access seasonal resources, maintain genetic diversity, and support ecosystem stability across large spatial scales. Yet there remains a significant gap between what we know through research and what is actually applied in conservation practice, often referred to as the know-doing gap. It's important to keep in mind because the way we interact with species like deer has direct consequences for the ecosystem we depend on. When we lose sight of what natural population density should look like, we also lose our ability to recognize imbalance. Ultimately, that imbalance affects not just wildlife, but us as well. So while the story of the white-tailed deer is often framed as conservation success, there is another side to that story, one that reveals unintended consequences